Here's how to come up with viral video ideas and titles that blow up your channel just like I did with my first video as well as countless others. First, you'll need to figure out your channel's niche, which honestly should be really easy. For example, this channel, like my channel, is in the niche of YouTube education because every single video on the channel is about educating aspiring YouTubers. In contrast, this channel is in the niche of game development because every single video on the channel is about creating video games. The key in both of these scenarios is that a channel has a defined niche when virtually every single video is about the same thing, which is important because it's really difficult to go viral if your content and subscriber base lie in a bunch of different niches, regardless of how good your video ideas are. On a side note, if you're interested in videos like mine that teach you how to grow on YouTube, you'll probably be interested in that first channel's content. And if you're interested in coding and video game creation, you'll probably want to check out the second channel. But anyway, if your channel doesn't have a clearly defined niche, pick one and stick to it for every single upload going forward. Eventually, the videos and subscribers on your channel that aren't in said niche will lose their influence on your new videos' performance if you've got a bunch of other videos nullifying their impact. Basically, if your channel doesn't have a niche now, it eventually will if you just continue to stick to that niche for your future uploads. Once you've figured out your channel's niche, you'll be able to use these 4 methods that I'll be outlining next to generate viral video ideas that will blow up your channel. Method number 1 involves you coming up with ideas in your niche that are almost too good to be true. In the case of my game dev channel, which I made before the one that you're watching right now, I made a game in 1 line of code, I made a game engine in 7 days, and I made a video game with no computer are all concepts that seem pretty much impossible, or at the very least, really impressive. Because, for example, a viewer looking at the first title thinks, wow, how does he make a game with only 1 line of code? The idea is to get the viewer questioning how exactly you accomplish what you're promising with the title. On the channel of mine that you're watching right now, how I monetize my channel in 30 days falls under this bubble as well. Because it's likely that my viewers interested in growing on YouTube are curious how I monetize my channel in such a short time. Now, I want you to grab some paper, ink, and a typewriter because we're going to use this method to generate some video concepts right now. Without worrying about your realistic capability to make them, think of 20 to 30 absolutely impossible, impressive, or absurd claims a video in your niche could make. Some examples from my channel might be how to easily get 1 million subscribers on YouTube, how to make $100,000 a month with YouTube automation, and how to get 90% retention on your YouTube videos. Get creative within the limits of your niche. Don't even worry about whether these videos could actually get created or not. Then once you've got a list of concepts, now you're going to write down exactly how you'd accomplish each one. And I guarantee you can get creative to accomplish almost everything on your list. Obviously, start by knocking out the video concepts that you can just literally do. Like, for example, a concept like how I became a professional video editor, I could definitely do, as I've personally accomplished that myself. Basically, just cross out stuff you can do without lying. Then move on to concepts that you could do with a bit of help. For example, if you run a channel like mine and have a concept like how to easily get 1 million views on YouTube, but haven't actually done it yourself yet, maybe in the video you'll just interview a successful YouTuber who actually has gotten 1 million views. And you'll actually be able to make an honest video that entertains, educates, or does whatever you want to your viewers. If you run a lifestyle and vlogs channel about traveling, then maybe you'll change a concept like I traveled to all 7 continents in 1 week, which is honestly probably impossible, to we travel to all 7 continents in 1 week, and just have you and your friends on separate paths traveling to different continents at the same time, so that once again the video is actually honest and can entertain, educate, whatever. The sky's the limit. Just the goal with a strategy like this is to always make sure you have an honest video. But that doesn't mean you can't straddle the line, if you know what I mean. For example, with my video, I made a game in 1 line of code on my game dev channel. I end up technically making a game in 1 line of code. However, it's literally just 100 lines of code stuffed into a single row in my text editor. I did the same with I made a video game with no computer, as in the video I technically didn't use my computer, but instead just called my friends on the phone and walked them through how to make a game step by step using their computers. The key here is that I at least partially delivered on the promises that I made with my titles, and made up for the part that I didn't deliver on with an absolute banger video. If you decide to use this strategy and your titles rely on small technicalities like these 2 examples do, then you also need to follow it up with a really good video that makes viewers not really care that they got a tiny bit clickbaited. If you follow a banger title and video concept with a shit video, then viewers end up leaving negative feedback that hurts your channel because, once again, like I said, they feel clickbaited, which you really want to avoid as much as possible. Method number 2 is research, and I know this is an obvious one, but stick with me because you probably aren't going about it the right way. Researching viral video topics can be done two different ways. The first is through researching trending topics, appropriately called trendjacking, to generate ideas that blow up in the short term. An example of this is in 2020 when creators that made content about the video game Among Us were able to easily bring in millions of views, which was obviously great at the time. However, this success was limited to the time frame in which Among Us was popular, and the same videos being posted in 2023 get a lot less views than they did just 3 years earlier, because obviously the game isn't as popular. Despite the sometimes short-term success of trendjacked videos, if you can consistently create content on trending topics in your niche, it's not really gonna matter because your channel will still be bringing in consistent views. But how does one actually find trends to create videos on? The most simple and straightforward way is to go to the trending tab or any of these other subcategories in the explore sidebar on the YouTube homepage. The trending tab is great in the sense that it's got videos from every single niche about topics that are, well, trending. And the other subcategories in that same sidebar do the same thing with just more specific niches like sports, fashion, and more, all of which you can take ideas from. For example, there are a few videos about the Temu app that are currently trending in the trending tab, signaling to us as creators that content about Temu will probably do well, as long as, of course, it aligns with our channel's niche. However, maybe your niche is a little more specific than these popular ones, and you also can't find topics that align with your niche in the trending tab, which leads us to Google Trends. Google Trends is a website that allows you to find the amount of search traffic associated with a given keyword on Google, regardless of its current popularity. This is helpful because high search traffic for a keyword on Google is usually representative of its chance for virality on YouTube, as there's likely a big audience for it. For example, at the time of recording, Olivia Rodrigo is currently trending on Google search due to buzz around her new album releasing soon, meaning if it aligns with your niche, a video on Olivia Rodrigo will probably do well. There's even a tab called Trending Now that's really similar to the trending tab on YouTube, but once again, you still might not be able to find potential video topics that align with your channel's niche using this method. Luckily, YouTube has you covered. If you hop into YouTube Studio, there's a tab in your analytics called Research. This tab literally shows you the exact search terms and keywords that are trending on YouTube at the moment, and even takes it a step further to show you the keywords that your personal audience is interested in. I've personally used this strategy a ton, and you can even see this in my first video, where in YouTube Studio, passive income and YouTube automation are really high traffic search terms with my audience, and on YouTube in general, which, as you can see, correlates to this really high view count on my first video. Obviously, when you're first starting out, you won't really have an audience, so YouTube Studio won't be able to tell you what search terms your audience is interested in. However, as this tool also allows you to search for general trends on YouTube, it's still so useful for any creator. Method number 3 is using AI, but I don't just mean asking ChatGPT for ideas, because ChatGPT, believe it or not, doesn't know everything, and when it comes to YouTube, I found it's really not good at coming up with banger video ideas. This is because ChatGPT doesn't have access to the internet or YouTube's data, but there's a tool that actually I've been using throughout my entire YouTube journey that does have access to all of YouTube's data. I'm talking about vidIQ, who also sponsored this video. vidIQ's Boost plan, which you can get for $1 using my link in the description, comes with a GPT-4 powered AI chatbot trained on YouTube's data as well as your own channel's data that I found to be super useful when coming up with viral video concepts. In fact, these high performing videos on my channel were literally suggested to me by the AI before I had the idea to make them. vidIQ Boost also gives you 50 personalized video ideas every single day that, once again, I've also used on my channel. And like I said, if you use my special link in the description, you can even get your first month of vidIQ Boost for only $1, so go check it out. Method number 4 is using other people. For an educational channel like mine, my comment section is literally an infinite supply of video ideas. Ever since my first video, I've gotten comments asking me to make content about how I edit my YouTube videos. And when I finally caved and made a video about editing, it popped like crazy. This doesn't just apply to educational channels either, but when looking to come up with original concepts, family and friends are great sources to ask. People you know that watch content similar to yours, or even just watch a lot of YouTube in general, are gonna be your best subjects, especially if these people have tried or are currently doing YouTube and know a bit about how the platform works. Obviously, most of your family and friends, even if they have tried YouTube before, aren't going to be the most informed, so take their opinions with a grain of salt, but it doesn't hurt to really just, keep them there for consideration. In addition to non-YouTube experts, I recently tried hiring an idea man off of Fiverr for my video on automating a fresh YouTube channel using Fiverr, and it ended up actually being a really good purchase. I paid her $10 and she managed to do research for me and come up with 10 different video concepts in a niche that she also found that were bound to get views, with really low competition. Could I have done this myself? Probably, but $10 really isn't that much, and she probably came up with some stuff that I would have overlooked had I been trying to find some viral concepts in the men's gadgets niche, which the channel was based around. So I felt like like it was a good investment. In general, with any and all concepts that you come up with, put yourself in the shoes of your target audience and really ask yourself if they'll enjoy each video. Then once you figured that out, go through each of your remaining concepts and think of an idea for a thumbnail and title that associate with the concept. Because some video ideas you have may be entertaining or educational or whatever, but won't perform well if you can't package them in a way that's appealing to your audience. In regards to a video's title, a good video title does a few things. First off, it makes sense and describes the video well in the context of your video's thumbnail, but that's pretty obvious. Packaging your video, meaning your video's title and thumbnail combo, is really all about keeping it simple and digestible for your viewers. Keep your titles under 40 characters if possible, and if you really can't keep it under 40 characters, just make sure that it at least completely shows up on the YouTube homepage and doesn't overflow like this. You want your titles to be as readable as possible. And to test this, you can always just inspect Element, the YouTube homepage, in your browser of choice, or use a thumbnail preview tool like Would-You.Click, which I personally use. Once again, simplicity is key, so cut out the fluff and leave unnecessary things like, for example, your channel name or something like must watch, not clickbait, out of your video titles. Remember that even after you post your video, you can still change its title, so don't stress if you're stuck between a few for a certain video. Now that you've got a bunch of titles though, like I mentioned earlier, you're gonna need some really good thumbnails to go along with them, because a good title is nothing without a thumbnail to provide context, and vice versa. So if you want to learn how to do that, go watch my video on making clickable YouTube thumbnails next. And if you're wanting to blow up your channel really fast like I did with mine, then hit me up on Discord, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and you can book a paid consulting call with me. Peace.